Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. We are going to be doing some stuff today. I think generally speaking the playtest is in a pretty good spot right now. Obviously there's some like balance issues and whatnot that I need to address, but I don't really want to do many more major changes to the playtest at the moment, so I'll be, just fixing bugs where I can. If there's interactions that aren't working as expected or whatever, I will address those. But I think it's a good place to kind of like let the playtest build be kind of feature frozen and just kind of, I'll maintain it. I'll do some maintenance patches if they're necessary. But other than that, I think the build is in a good spot. So thank you everyone who is a Patreon member and is playtesting that and giving me feedback and bug reports. That's very much appreciated. And sorry, one sec. And yeah, so we're going to continue on doing some work on just the main game now. And I don't know exactly what I want to do today. I'm getting kind of tired of fixing bugs, so we may look at doing some new content, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll see. Anyway, before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that Alka Mortis is available for wish listing, so head on over to the Steam page and check it out. The playtest is also open right now for Patreon members, so you can head over to Patreon. If you subscribe at either tier, you will get access to the playtest, and you'll get a Steam key emailed to your email that you use with Patreon. You can use that Steam key to gain access to the playtest. The playtest, though, will be going live in whatever it is, 4 or 5 days. So you don't have to pay anything. The public will have access to the playtest. Everyone will get a chance to play it. The Patreon support is just a little bit extra if you want to support me and get early access. But also, if you subscribe at this $15 a month tier for at least 1 month, I will send you an Alka Mortis Steam key when the game launches. So this is like a pre-purchase of the game. Helps out the development a lot. And your name will be listed in the in-game Alka Mortis credits as well. So there's that. And then I also have the Udemy courses, which will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. That's a great way to support me as well. All those links are below. You can also join the Discord, so check out the description. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Fuzuli, welcome. Good to see you. Ninja Link, welcome. Always good to see you. Emerson, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I saw, man, those builds that you and Rabbit were coming up with last night in the Discord was like absolutely ridiculous. I was having a lot of fun watching all those ridiculous builds. Obviously, probably some of that is going to need to change. But like we were talking about yesterday, like I wonder how much of that is going to be, because like I don't really want to necessarily prevent like those one-shot like 54,000 poison damage or like 10 billion confuse applications. I don't want to necessarily make that impossible. But it shouldn't be all that easy to put together that build. Like you shouldn't be able to go into a run and say, I'm going to do this build and like come out with that build completed. You know what I mean? Like the intent of Alka Mortis is like if you've got your eyes open for a kind of build that you want, then yeah, you might get lucky and get all the things you need for that build. But the intent for like the base case experience is like, you're going to have to make do with what you have. Like you're going to have to create your synergies in your build from what you get. And what you get is not going to be guaranteed to the point where you could chase a very particular build. And so I think, a lot of the things, a lot of the reagent power, a lot of the, just like a lot of that build potential, I guess, will probably be reduced when there's more items in the game. And so like it dilutes the pool, right? So if I add, let's just say I add double the amount of reagents that currently exist, then it's going to be a lot harder to get the things that are like critical to making those kinds of builds, right? So anyway, And I may also introduce the concept of legendary reagents, make those ones extremely rare, but then, they can be powerful. So like fairy wings might become like a legendary reagent, right? Where it's like very uncommon, but when you get it, it's like, okay, you got to use it carefully, right? Hello, Spaceship Tactics. I really like your Kanban board. Can you please go over shortly how you created it in Obsidian and which community plugin you're using? It's the Kanban community plugin. And yeah, it's like, it's just a Kanban board. So like you just got different lanes and then you just put each card in a lane. Yeah, I don't really know. I think the three main lanes that you probably want are like your backlog, your to-do, your in progress. Okay, I guess it's four. Backlog, to-do, in progress, and done. You probably don't even need a backlog. You can just, it's very much free form. Like just create lanes, columns in whatever way feels natural to you. So like I created a playtest to-do column to specifically track things that I need to do for the playtest branch. And then my to-do column is like the priority of things that I want to do for like the main branch of the game. And then backlog are things that I want to do at some point, but are just not prioritized yet. And then all of these ones are basically just like idea dumps. Like these are not necessarily tasks that are going to get done. They're just kind of like where I record any ideas that I have for abilities or artifacts or whatever else. So yeah. Hello, Wooius. Welcome, welcome. Snupbill, thank you for the IDR 10,000. Appreciate it. With the message, Yummers. Always generous, Snupbill. Thank you so much. And welcome back. Hello, Mark. Welcome. Okay. Oh, here's the cat now. So, what are we going to work on today? I do want to fix some more issues. I kind of want to do some more content. I still have controller support sort of in the background that I want to work on. I don't know. Let me see. I should have planned out what I wanted to do on this stream better. Working for a tech company in 2026 sucks. I'm almost giving up and going to live in the woods. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Do we have to do this right now, Azir? Okay, let me see. Artifact ideas. So I did a couple of interesting things last night. I added like an artifact trigger animation system, which, I don't know, it's just a nice little extra visual indicator like when your artifacts are actually taking effect. Now the thing is, like, I actually don't have a way of triggering those, like, all artifacts, because some of them are very, like, particular. But I have the Vampire Fangs, for example, here. And you can see that as it does damage, it does a little bounce animation. It will also do a bounce animation when lifesteal happens, but it's hard to tell because it's just doing the same animation over and over again. So, and also if I add like a ritual item, so if I add item candle, those two things animated because that affected the candle and this also affected the candle. So yeah, I just added that last night. It was relatively easy to do, but like I said, there's a bunch of artifacts that don't support that yet because they need to have very specific logic introduced for that, but I definitely want to do that for every artifact if possible, because I think it's nice to know like that your artifacts are taking effect. And so when they do that little bounce animation, you know that they're actually applying what they said they would apply. They don't want to let me watch my niche e-celeb streams. Uh-oh. Nerf remove global query enchant. That's got to be something that I do. Maybe not though. Maybe I'll just make it rarer. We're kind of like this is like an awkward point because it's like we've got the playtest branch, which is like its own thing. And then we've got the master branch, which is like where all the future development is going to go. But then I've got a third branch here for controller support, and I got to kind of like manage all those things. But also, like part of me is like, I don't want to do some like broader reworks that I have queued up, like the status stack rework, because it may be the case that I need to change something about the statuses on the playtest branch, and then I'm going to have like a merge conflict going back into master. So it's like, So the safer things to do would be to continue the controller support, because that basically doesn't touch any existing code that much, or add new content. So I should have probably thought about this. This is an interesting bug here. Maybe I'll look into this one. We can look at the shop scrolling bugs. Let's see. Show diffs and tooltip before upgrading. This is something that I actually want to do. Okay, let's just do some content. We can chill and make some new stuff. So reagents actually would be a good place to start, because there are a lot of missing reagents. There are a lot of reagents that don't like protect damage abilities or whatever. So let's do some reagents then. That one's done. Reagent that absorbs stat and can have that stat reapplied to another card. Interesting. That's also done. I need to split this out a little bit. Maybe I won't do that right now, but so I think preserve damage. What do I have? Let's see. We can go to the reagents here and think about what to add support for. If you've got any reagent ideas, feel free to throw them in the chat. Swaps the cooldowns of left and right adjacent items. Oh, the other thing that I want to do too is probably make it so that reagents can't affect, like at least fairy wings probably shouldn't be able to affect reagents. See, the thing is, like, I don't, maybe I should just make reagents not affect each other. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to put this non-reagent text in every single reagent to specify that it doesn't work against reagents or work on reagents. Now I'm trying to think if I want to do the legendary reagents. Okay, anyway, so we can add new abilities. So Flint is the only reagent that adds abilities. We don't have anything that preserves or protects damage abilities. We don't have anything that protects bleed abilities. Hello, Doc Rockman. Welcome. How's life? It's going good. How are you doing? To be honest, I'm a little bit tired because I've been up late for like the past week straight. I don't think there's been a single day where I went to bed before like 1 a.m. A little bit tired, but it's okay. Anything for the game. Anything to make alchemy borders feel nice and chunky, nice and good. Do I have legendary reagents? I kind of want to start working on like legendary reagents actually. Support legendary reagents, so this would be like rare and loot table, plays legendary effect on drop. That's basically it. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's just do something fun. Let's just see what that looks like to start, and then. Because I think that's going to be, because I'm a little bit worried about like adding reagents that are too powerful. So if I have a second category of reagents where they're like legendary reagents, and it could be really fun to like, because right now the only time legendaries can really come up is in alchemy, but it would be really fun if like you open like a loot, a booster pack or whatever, and then boom, legendary effect plays, and it's like a legendary reagent, and it's like, ooh, what is that? You know what I mean? I'm not bad, I'm tired too. Need to get me a coffee tankard like you, yeah. I say just take the time just to round out the ability protection reagents since you know you need them. Yeah, I could do that. I have a job interview, so I have to go. Have a great stream. All right, good luck with your job interview. Hope it goes well. All right, let's see. Hard definition resource. So we add the is legendary Boolean flag to card definition resource. I was thinking it would be cool to have some enchants that are targeted towards alchemy reagents, such as an enchant that always applies the reagent ability twice. That would be cool, yeah. Let me add that. I need to split this out. This is not good. Enchant that causes reagents to be applied twice. The other thing is I probably want to prevent I think we're all in agreement, right, that artifact provided abilities should not go onto reagents, right? Hello, Junie. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right, so fairy wings. I'm just going to change this loot table weight up to like 1,000, maybe 10,000, just so I can see it work. And then whenever I go to like booster event, state machine, get adjusted cards, set cards, play drop animation. Let me go to my alchemy input config. No, alchemy manager. So I might need to do some refactoring here. What in the world? Alchemy container. Okay, play legendary drop animation. impact player. Okay, so this is a little bit weird. So yeah, I'm gonna need to rework some things here. So right now, since legendary drop animation is only played in the alchemy container, I have the sound effect tied here, as well as the impact particles tied there. But I think what I would want to do is put this all in legendary drop. Now, the other thing that I want to do this delay is almost always necessary. So I may want this to return something. Okay, so there's a bunch of changes that I need to make here. Let me do this. Move legendary impact SFX to audio helper instead of inside alchemy container. That's the main thing that I want to do. I don't want to do that on stream because then I'd have to mess with the sound settings and everything. So, and then let's also remove. Okay. So let's just make this as simple as possible. Firstly, what I am going to do is I'm going to get rid of this, and this is going to go into here. Okay, and then the special delay here. So this is the kind of thing that it's like, I'm just probably gonna do, let's just do float delay, I guess. This is gonna be so weird, but. Tuple must contain at least 2 elements. What? This may need to change, but that's all right. We'll just return the tween out. Okay, and we'll do const float animation delay is equal to 1.25. Return animation delay, and then we're going to return the position root tween as well. Oh, this is a cleanup tween. I'm just going to get rid of the finish action for now, actually, because I'm returning the tween out of there. So I can just append a tween action onto it. So we can get rid of that. That's going to break this, which is fine. So what I'm going to want is something like this, var animation delay tween is equal to that. Let's do position root tween. Okay, let's do position root tween action. We move this down. That's going to get merged in to the actual play legendary drop animation eventually, but this cleanup tween is pretty interesting. Maybe I'll just mention this real quick. So oftentimes when I'm doing tweens, I have a situation where I want the tween to guarantee to call some function when it finishes, regardless of when it finishes or if it gets killed. because like I may have some state that's like tied up in the tween, right? So I may, like, for example, I may disable some buttons while a tween is playing, and then I want to re-enable the buttons when the tween finishes. But for my button disabling system, I have a lock system. So it increments the lock counter every time I call disable, and it decrements the lock counter every time I call enable. And so the obvious problem is that if I increment the lock counter, but then have a situation where the animation plays, but then gets interrupted before it can decrement the counter again, then I end up in a soft lock situation where that addition of the lock counter is never removed again, right? And so I created this cleanup tween, which is essentially just a wrapper around tween. But this gives me a way, when I call kill on the tween, not only does it kill the tween and all the subtweens, but it also calls execute cleanup. And execute cleanup will always invoke my cleanup function. But it's also true that when the tween finishes naturally, it executes its cleanup function as well. So that's the way I'm getting like safety, where I can know that as long as I define that cleanup function, anytime the tween ends or is killed, it will run the cleanup code, which in a lot of cases is just decrementing the lock counter again for whatever thing. So anyway, that's just a little interesting thing, I guess. And then we can do special delay plus equals animation delay. Okay. So why did I do all of that? Because now when I go to my booster card selection container, for example, this will need to be if card dot, well, actually, this is going to be a problem. So set cards. So I think actually in here, final cards, get adjusted cards. For each var card and new cards. If, actually, maybe I should do this in the pick unmodified cards here. So here, if card.card, actually, maybe I should do this even, sorry, one second. Pick cards, card factory, create card. Maybe what I should do, this is a list of card definition resource. So maybe I should do it actually in the card factory here. To card instance, card registry from ID. Yeah, so I think I want to do it in here actually. So let's do the var definition is equal to card registry dot from ID, card ID. If definition dot is legendary, we want to do, oh, whoops. That's actually not correct. Oops, it's in here. If definition dot is legendary. So basically, anytime that I'm creating a card, it always goes through this card factory. Like this is the single point where every single card in the game is created whenever I need a card. And so every single card, when it gets created, ultimately runs through this logic here. And so I can just put that make legendary if the definition contains legendary. So now this is just a matter of going back to my booster card selection container here. If card.is legendary, then we do card var animation delay. I don't care about the second part. Card.card node.play legendary drop, or play legendary drop animation. Where is that? Play legendary drop animation from origin, animation origin, delay. Is that all I need to do? And then we do delay plus equals animation delay. And then else, we just do the normal drop animation. Okay, hopefully that works. So let's set the booster as the test event here, and then I'll catch up on the chat. I know it's building up. I'm sorry. Okay. Hello, Rabbit, the malicious rabbit. Welcome, welcome. Wait, ready for another day of breaking the game? Yeah. I'm glad you guys were enjoying that. I can't wait for the playtest to open up to the public for everyone else. See what everyone else says, but I'm really happy about this version of the game. I think it's the most fun version of the game by far. I think it's the most well-balanced version of the game, which is not, I guess, not saying a lot because there's still a lot of balance issues, but I think it feels good. Like, I was just having a conversation with somebody just a bit ago who played it, and they said, like, it feels like you get punished for not paying attention and not, like, focusing on your build. And then if you do focus on your build and you have enough game experience, like, you can regularly beat difficulty 0, right? The first difficulty. So I feel that's really good. I think the alchemy is in a really good spot. The alchemy feels really good to use, feels really fun to strategize or puzzle it out, as one of you said. I think it was Ninja Link or Malicious Rabbit, one of you. So yeah, I'm feeling very confident in this version of the game. Obviously, we're still quite a ways from being final release, but like, I think this is the first version of the game where it's like, yes, I see what the complete version of the game is now, right? And now it's just a matter of like tweaking things around the edges and making sure everything feels good and adding a bunch of new content and controller support and getting all the translations in place and all that stuff. But I'm not really expecting the game to change a whole lot in terms of core features. But, you know, we're still in the playtest period, so we'll see how people feel about it. But I'm feeling very good about this version of the game. Hello, O Pacheco Studio, welcome. Koroman, hello, Sonia. I'm starting to enjoy, I'm starting to look forward to seeing that Koroman every day. Here's another fun idea. An artifact that has a 10% chance to cause reagents to be generated with an enchant, such as increased sell price or global query. Oh. That is a good idea. I mean, what is it about making it reagent specific? Like I wonder, would that artifact be just as interesting if it was just a chance to add a enchant to any item? Chance to add random enchant to new items. Oh, you know what I just realized too? I don't know why I'm tagging this. Change overflow and combat rewards boards to use drop animations for items. What are you using marked tasks? Obsidian? Yes, Obsidian with Kanban. Hello, Light Tiramisu, welcome. Read my mind, I was about to ask about the cleanup tween, yeah. And the cleanup function is basically making sure stuff you're animating gets freed or something. It's just anything that... So the core problem is that if you want to execute code when the tween is finished, typically you connect to the finish signal. The problem is I have multiple situations in my code where maybe I want to interrupt or kill the currently running tween because like I need to do the same animation again and I can't have two tweens fighting each other to tween the same properties. And so cleanup tween gives me the opportunity to run some cleanup code when the tween is finished or when the tween gets killed. Because if you kill a tween, a normal tween, it never emits its finished signal. And also tweens don't have a signal that they emit when they get killed. So if you want to interrupt a tween by killing it, you have no way of hooking into that event and running some cleanup code. So I'm trying to figure out like where's a good example of this. So here's exactly what I was talking about, right? So this is the speed controls of the combat widget. The rotation is driven by a tween, and I disable mouse input across all of the speed options because I don't want the player to be able to click another time while it's animating. However, there could be a situation where the game speed is changed somewhere else. So like the game speed manager. I can change the game speed from the game speed manager from anywhere in the code, which I'm not really doing, but what this does is this emits a signal game speed changed. And what that ultimately does is this causes rotate to current speed to get called again. So if I click to change a speed and then something else changes the game speed, I'm going to have two rotate tweens going at the same time. If I disable the mouse input and then don't clean it up, regardless if the tween is finished or killed, then I'm always going to have a permanent like additional lock on the input, which means that it will just remain permanently locked until you like restart the game, right? So this cleanup function just gives me the ability to re-enable that mouse input if the tween is finished or gets killed. So you can imagine this situation now where like, let's say I've got a rotate tween that's in progress and then this gets called again. That will, first it will disable the mouse input again. So it adds another lock. So we've got an input lock count of 2. It calls rotate tween.kill, which will call this cleanup code from the previous iteration. So that decrements the counter by 1. And then the second tween that I started will play out all the way through, and then it will call this again and decrement the counter again. And then we're back to 0, which means that the inputs are re-enabled, right? So that's basically it. Vertical slice, yeah. I think there could be one for both kinds. The vast majority of enchants would be pointless on reagents and would just be disappointing. Right. Yeah. I tried to cheese alchemy a bit and toss in a tier 5 altar with a gem in the middle, hoping it would execute the gem 5 more times, but alas, it did not. Oh, interesting. Is that something that I want to support? That would be like another layer of complexity, right? Like if the passive abilities of the items that you put into the board could affect reagents such that the reagents actually change how they behave in accordance with that. That is actually a really interesting idea. Ah, interesting. I mean, that's just like we're going really deep with the depth of the game now. Hello, Flip Smithner, green herb reagent. Yeah, we could do something like that. I'm kind of going on a side quest right now. I'm just like adding legendary drop capabilities. But anyway, let's see what happens. That did not work. I literally just got fairy wings and it didn't drop the legendary. So, oh, did I never set it to legendary? Oh, that would be why. Okay, so Fairy Wings is legendary now. Oh, that's not good. Now I gotta figure out how to get these animations to work. Wait, are these just broken? Hold on a second. Maybe these animations are just broken. Or is it only the legendary that's broken? Let me see. Selected booster.card origin. So that's getting the global position. Why is that? I feel like that's wrong for all the cards. Let me just do something before I do a debug here. Oh, you know what? Maybe I just need this vector 2.up. No, because it's still coming in from the side though, in a weird way. I don't know why there's a discrepancy between these animations. Are they all coming out from the side like that? Wait a minute. Something's wrong. I may have to extend the animation. I think it's only the legendary one. That's doing 2 local from origin. What is this one doing? Set position root dynamic. Huh? Why do these do 2 different things? Well, this is a little bit sketchy. I did not expect this to be that difficult. Dang it. Animation origin 505 159. Does this change? So the only difference between drop animation, and the legendary animation is they actually have different behavior in terms of how they're calculating the position they should animate to. That's weird. Oh. I wonder if I should. Maybe I do need to make an update to this. This is tweening the set position root position. It's going from 2 local up position dot value. So I can change this. So this set position root dynamic, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So maybe this is doing, so this is updating the local position every time. So this set position root dynamic, it's got the from position func, which will return to local from origin minus half size every time. And then we've got the up position dot value, which is being set here, and then it goes to up position. Okay. From or why is this not working? I don't understand. I mean, I think there must be a subtle difference here because play drop animation was used for the boosters exclusively, meaning that the boosters didn't play any other kinds of card drop animations. But the thing that's puzzling me is that this play drop animation and the play legendary drop animation and the play corrupted animation, those all work in the alchemy container. So there must be something about the positioning of the cards inside of the alchemy container that makes it work. Whereas like with boosters, it doesn't work. But I just don't understand why that would be the case. Well, I mean, I might as well just copy these and do it here. We can keep that there, up position. Okay. All right, so tween method. This is going to be 0.4f. So that's right. Out and back. Okay. Tween interval and then tween method here. This is 0.75. Okay, so we go here. Ease type in transition expo. So we change this here. My hope is that this is basically going to be functionally the same, except it's going to start working in the boosters now. I don't need this one now. All right, well, let's see what happens. How do I stop this blasted thing? Here we go. All right. I'm extremely new to this, literally just subbed, so I can chat. What's your game about? My game, Alchemortis, is a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you use the alchemy system, which is this pot here, to mix and match your abilities and reform your items to create your own builds and synergies. So if you're a fan of like auto battlers, if you're a fan of strategizing, builds, theory crafting, all that kind of good stuff, you'll like this game. I would say probably if you're a fan of deck builders too, you will like this game. Looks really cool. Yeah, thank you. You can check out the Steam page that's linked in the description below. So if you're interested to learn more about the game, that's the way to do it. Do we have a reagent that only changes the tags? We do not. I'm just playing around with some animations. This is not actual gameplay. Okay, so that seems to be working. So I'm going to do the same for the corrupted animation. Yeah, I think the corrupted animation is largely the same. It might actually be exactly the same, but let's see. Oops. So up position dot value, half size, set ease, set transition. That works. And then is it the same as the second phase as well? Yeah. So I should be able to just drop this right in here. So the thing is, I need to make sure that this still works in Alchemy, so we'll do that. By the way, welcome to the stream, Cleats of Glory. Swap tags would be cool. Yeah, so let's do, let's see. Alchemical reagents. I need to make this like a separate list with each entry being a card. Add tag to items, swap tags of items. Hello, Michael Essian. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right, let's make sure the corrupted still works in Alchemy here. Of course, I didn't get any corruption. That's all right. Okay, that's fine. And then let's also do add item lead ingot. Okay, perfect. All right. So the animations are working. I don't know what it was about those animations that made them not work consistently depending on the context, but all the animations are unified now. They're all doing the same animation logic and they all work across everywhere where I'd want to use them. So, oh, that looks satisfying, doesn't it? All right. So we're good with that. So now it's just a matter of like, so I can make items drop as legendary by default, and then I can play the animation when they get presented to the player. This loot table weight, we're going to change that down to 2. And that's basically it. We'll just go ahead and throw that on master, I suppose. Support, legendary. Oh, wait. I should probably make sure I didn't actually hover over the fairy wings. Let's change this back up to 10,000. Hello, hello. I hate that C# won't let you change the vector 2 properties directly. You have to use a copy. You can change the vector 2 properties directly. There are just certain situations where you can't. Like, I can't change the X property of a node directly, right? So if I do new node 2D, I can't do test.position.x is equal to 100. It won't let me do that if I'm changing the property of a node. But I can do var test vector is equal to new vector 2. I can do test vector 2 dot x is equal to 100. So I can do this. I just can't change the individual components of like a transform on a node. So yeah, that is a little bit annoying, but if you have a standalone vector, you can change that to your heart's content. It doesn't prevent you from doing that. Oops. What's up? What's with the strange looks. Did I do something wrong? Legendary fairy wings, nice. Thought of a good way to nerf altar. Make it drop as a legendary, and the tier 5 only does 2 additional executions. Going above tier 5 increases it by 1 each time. Still allows for potential broken builds, but it takes a lot more effort to get there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, dropping it as a legendary by default. So... limited scaling on execution count. The other thing that I was thinking about doing for the altar is like maybe there are certain conditions that you have to meet in order for it to actually do its thing. So like alternatively require like X adjacent ritual items, right? So keep it the power that it has, but require a little bit more build development before you can actually unlock the effect, right? Those are 2 ways to nerf it, and honestly, I could probably do both too, right? So it could be like a super powerful item, but you have to meet certain conditions to unlock the power. I think that's probably the way to do it. I use on-screen keyboard because keyboard keys won't... OL.9 won't work while it's typing. Interesting. I don't know what OL.9 is. Okay, so I think we're good. I'm going to change that back down. I do think that there's like... I like this idea because there's like more opportunities now for like dopamine hits, you know what I mean? But also the thing about like... The thing I like about this too is that making a reagent legendary kind of hints to the player that this can be a really powerful thing. Because if you just see the fairy wings and you're not very experienced with the game, you might be like, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? But if I'm calling out the item as like something special, then the player might go, oh, wait, like, why is this legendary? Like, what's so special about it? You know what I mean? So I think this is going to be a fun change. Get more dopamine hits from the booster packs and everything. Oh, it executes the item in the middle equal to the number of adjacent ritual items. Oh, that could work too, yeah. That could work too. All right, let me commit what I have here. Oh man, we're getting to the really fun part of development where it's just going to be these kinds of things for a long time, just like adding all of these little extra tiny features and behaviors make the game feel a lot more rich. Other than the animation, will you be able to tell a reagent is legendary without hovering over it? Yeah, it has a little effect. I don't know if you saw it, but it has a little effect for sure. Hello, V. Welcome. Good to see you. Could limit it in an interesting way and say adjacent ritual items to the left and right of the altar. Yeah, I could do that. Will you have a demo or playtest soon? Yes, there's a playtest coming out very, very soon, in less than a week. That's available to everyone. I mean, you can subscribe to my Patreon if you want to get access to the playtest right now. My Patreon members get roughly a week. I haven't actually promised specifically how long the playtest would be for Patreon members, but Patreon members always get about a week of early access before everyone else. So if you want to try it now, you can go to Patreon and support. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, you can wait a couple more days here, and the playtest will be available for everyone to play. And I'll be announcing that stuff on Discord. I'll send an email out through my email list. I think I will post an announcement on the Steam page, which should let you know. I don't know. Does Steam tell you if a playtest is available if the thing's on your wish list? I don't know that. But anyway, if you want to join the Discord or follow me anywhere on any socials, so you can be notified when it goes live for everyone. How do I commit changes to GitHub and VS Code? It requires some setup. I'm sure there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. I think they do. Awesome. That's good to know. All right, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and I'll be right back, and we will continue on. Okay, I'm back. I am back. Hello, Drufus. More playtest patching. I think the playtest is actually in a relatively good spot. I've fixed a lot of the most pressing bugs, fixed a lot of the item interactions that weren't working as expected, which was a little bit of an interesting one. I mean, I think so. I don't know if you guys remember, but I said that I typically don't like to cache things when I can help it, because caching things will inevitably create lots of situations where you have to deal with like stale cache bugs, right? Like you have to be very diligent about clearing the cache and updating the cache when something happens in the code that should cause that. And so generally I prefer to just recalculate everything on demand, right? So like if I need to get some kind of configuration, I would much prefer that configuration is just reconstructed from all of the game state rather than cached and updated as the game state changes. And so the Iron Gauntlet had a bug where the amount of damage was not being updated as you completed combats. So for context, the Iron Gauntlet gives your sole minion on the board damage that's basically equal to the number of combats that you've completed. But I recently introduced a caching system to the artifacts that add abilities to items, and that was for reasons that we won't get into, but that was basically necessary. And of course, the problem now with the Iron Gauntlet not updating the damage is because it was referencing a stale version of the ability. So I had to introduce a whole like cache. I mean, I already had cache clearing somewhat, but I have like a little method now that I need to call at the right spots whenever ability needs to be cleared from the cache. So yeah, anyway. I was vindicated in my suspicion of caching things, because it does create those kinds of invisible errors all the time. But unfortunately, the cache is actually needed in this situation. But it should be fixed now. Anyway. Let's do some other reagents here. So this is not quite done. There's some sound effect stuff that I need to do, but I need to do that off stream. All right, let's do some artifacts. Let's see. Add a tag to items. I don't have any artifacts that do that currently, right? So we need to protect damage abilities. Okay, so I basically just need theme ideas here. I'm thinking we could do something like, let me think. Let's do card creation tool. Let's do 1x2 or 2x1, I mean. Thorns. Load default palette. So I'm thinking thorns will just be like, I mean, it'll just do what it sounds like. It will be a reagent that will preserve maybe bleed. I'm thinking either bleed or damage. Probably bleed is better. Well, this doesn't look that great so far, but I think once I add the shading and whatnot, it should be fine. Now I'm wondering, let me just do this. Maybe I'll do a slightly thicker and then bring this up and do this. Yeah, that's probably better. Less noisy. Then I can trim it up. I think that looks much better, generally speaking. Okay, and then we can add... Now the cat's being annoying. Gonna have to kick the cat out again. Go. Okay. I'm trying to use the animation technique from your short in my game, but it makes the camera follow to the pixel grid as well. It makes it really crunchy. How do you avoid that? I mean, yeah, if you're doing a low-res pixel art game, then yeah, there's going to be pixel crunch. The only way to really get around that is just to change your project settings. If you go to Window and change this viewport mode to canvas items, that will give you like smooth rendering, but you'll lose the like pixel chunk, which may be what you're after, but yeah, that's just like unavoidable for a pixel game. If you've only got 640 by 360 resolution to work with, and then you try to rotate something, it's going to create, you know, it's going to create that effect. So if you don't like that effect, that's the way to fix it. A lot of people don't like it. I mean, I got a lot of comments like, oh no, rotating pixels, that's a big no-no. And it's like, you know, if that's your personal preference, then that's okay. But I happen to think that it looks pretty cool, actually. You can get away with a lot of stuff by crunching pixels down like that. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of like the purists would say like, you can't rotate pixels like that. You're not allowed to do that. Which is fine, you know. If you don't want to do that, then don't do that. But I think it looks dope. Okay. Let's try shading this up then. Okay. What are you drawing? Vines. Trying to draw vines anyway, or thorns, I mean. Trying to use the animation technique from your short... Oh, wait. Did I already read it? I already read that one. What resolution is your game for your pixel art? 640 by 360. No worries, Cleats. My character was 32 by 32. Might be worth doing what Artificial did for his game, pixel perfection, but with smooth motion. I think that technique is probably out of reach for a lot of people, because I think, if I recall correctly, I watched the video a while ago. It's quite technical, and if your engine doesn't support that kind of technique, then you'll have to write your own solution for it. I could be wrong though, but that was I watched that video like a while ago, so I don't know. I don't know if that's still accurate. Okay, it's not looking too good right now, but we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. I don't really know what to do for the thorn parts. I'm gonna have to think about that. I almost wonder, should I like step everything down? Step everything down and then I can do like this. That may work. Well, I'm kind of just getting back to where I originally was, but that's all right. Okay. I think we're almost there. Almost there. Probably don't need to spend this much time on this one, but anyway, I think it's okay. This needs a bigger separation. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it looks all right. Once again, not going to be the best piece in the entire game, but I think it certainly does the job, so we can probably call it good. This part over here is still a little bit weird to me. That's probably fine. Yeah, it's probably all right. I just keep coming back to that section. It's probably fine. I think maybe I'm just looking at it too much. I think it's all right. Just out of curiosity, do you have any cards that add passives but can be left in the inventory? No, I don't. So that's another thing that I can do. I could have cards that apply abilities to your combat board when they're left in the inventory. So that is something that I'm very interested in doing, just like adding this idea that, you know, you have cards that you just want to keep in your inventory the whole time. I think that'd be kind of cool, but I haven't given that like a whole lot of thought yet. How did you make your YouTube channel grow to 36,000 subs? Oh, well, that's easy. You just have several videos that hit 200,000 views. No, so first of all, my YouTube channel is really old. So you could go back, all of my old videos are still up. You could go all the way back in the history and see the absolutely terrible like first game that I was making devlogs for. It's called Tenacious. That game is just embarrassingly bad, but the videos are still up. So if you want to go and laugh at me, go ahead. But I've been putting out devlogs, and like with a lot of things that I'm discovering is like the success is, it's a combination of your individual skill. So in my case, trying to get better at making more engaging YouTube videos, right? But then there's an element of it too where it's like you just have to get pulls at the slot machine, right? Like you just have to keep putting stuff out there, and even when it's like demoralizing and you get like 200 views on a video, you just have to keep doing it, right? Like the same with games, right? Like you just got to keep doing it, keep getting better. Like you keep developing your skill, but you also keep putting stuff out there, and like eventually the right combination of things are going to happen where like, you know, you hit a video that gets 200,000 views or whatever, and then that will generate like several thousand, or not several thousand, but several hundred, maybe up to 1,000 subscribers, right? But it's a skill like anything else, right? Like you got to learn how to make a video that's engaging or helpful or useful. Then you also have to figure out how to make like clickable thumbnails, and then also have a title that is clickable, that grabs people's attention. So yeah, there's no secret to it. Like it's just a matter of like, it's like anything else, just try to get better at it. Like, and getting better at making YouTube videos is a combination of skills. It's like, first of all, do you have the editing skills to make your video intriguing, right? Do you have something that's worth talking about or that other people would find valuable to watch? So those two things are issues as well. But then there's like, you know, the technical side of like how to use the editing tools. Good audio is really important for YouTube videos. People will click away from your YouTube video if the audio is terrible, if it's too quiet, or if it's coming from a laptop microphone or whatever. You're not going to get a video that has broad appeal if your audio is terrible. So you got to figure that out. And then of course, like I said, the marketing aspect of it, like what does your thumbnail look like? What does the title look like? And I think, you know, there probably is some kind of bias in the YouTube algorithm where if you're already a bigger channel, it will push your video more. So it can be harder starting out. That's my impression anyway. I don't know for sure. But yeah, there's no secret to it. I mean, this YouTube channel is like, I don't know, 10 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. So 36,000 subscribers in like 8 or 9 years is actually not a whole lot, right? Yeah, that's right, Monkey Software. Confirm that the phylactery is absolutely broken with the state of low cooldown options. Yeah, there you go. Amazing what a little shading does to look very nice. Yeah, the shading is everything, really. These thorns look great. Thank you, Evan Lee. Appreciate that. Is your A-Sprite purposely running on Windows XP? Yeah, I have a Windows XP theme on it. Good alternative to A-Sprite. I don't know if I'm ready to spend money on making art for my games yet. You can compile A-Sprite from source to get it for free. And if you don't know how to do that, this is a good use case for LLMs, right? Just like point the LLM at the repository and say, hey, walk me through the steps of compiling this. There's LibreSprite, which is an old fork of A-Sprite, which is not going to have as many features, but is basically the same program. People use like Paint to make pixel art sometimes, or paint.net. So yeah, I haven't really tried a whole lot of pixel art tools, but some people use Krita, which is open source. Like I think it's mostly like geared towards illustrations, like vector illustrations and stuff, but you could definitely do pixel art in that. Success equals luck plus hard work formula, yeah. Nice pixel image, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think success is, like, there's an element of luck in it, but, like, if your video is terrible, you're not going to luck into getting 1 million views, right? It's like, that's just not going to happen. Like, the video has to be good to begin with. And there are some things I'm learning about YouTube. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, knock on wood, I'm pretty sure, like, I can do another video that does almost as good as the rendering server video I did. Because I'm finding out that if you have a YouTube title that's like a command, right? Like in my case, the last title was like, stop using nodes for everything in Godot. That immediately like is just attention grabbing. It's like, first of all, who is this guy to tell me what to do? Second of all, nodes is the whole point of Godot. Why would I stop using nodes in Godot? That's the whole point. So people get a little bit intrigued by that. So it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit clickbaity, but it's also like an accurate title, right? It's like an accurate representation of the content of the video. It's just formulated in a way that gets people to click more likely. But the thing about that kind of video title is that it does draw out a lot of combative people. So I got a lot of comments which are like, are you stupid? Like, why? Like, this is still unacceptable. Like 8 milliseconds is not appropriate and whatever else. And it's like, that's fine. I kind of expected that, right? You like give a command to somebody like that, and then they're going to come in and like be ready to argue with you. That's fine. You know, like that's just how it goes. That's the nature of choosing a title like that. But I think if I were to make another YouTube video, I'd probably follow the same formula. I would probably use a similarly structured title. And I'm sure that would do pretty well. I use Microsoft Paint for my pixel art. It isn't perfect, but it's free and local. Yep. Krita and GIMP are also good options. Yeah, I can't recommend GIMP ever, because every time I open that program, I'm just like, this is terrible. It's just, I'm sorry if you're a GIMP fan. This is just my personal opinion. Of course, you should use whatever tools you want. But every time I open GIMP, I'm like, this is an absolute garbage piece of software. Like, it's not until very recently that GIMP had non-destructive editing. It's like, this has been Photoshop technology for like 25 years. It's like, come on, man. And then like the hotkeys and like the layout are just terrible. I like even doing something simple, like I want to reposition how a layer is on screen. It just like doesn't work. And I'm like, I'm literally just trying to do the most basic thing imaginable, and I have to spend 5 minutes figuring out like how to do it and like do a Google search. It's like, I will never recommend GIMP. I will never recommend GIMP. I mean, maybe never is too strong. If GIMP comes out with like a 4.0 version that is basically just Photoshop Lite with all the hotkeys fixed and the UX issues fixed and like full non-destructive editing, then maybe I'll recommend it. But I will never, like, I would rather pay an Adobe subscription than be forced to use GIMP. Luckily, there is an app that's kind of like Photoshop. It's called Canva. They just released like a desktop standalone app that is quote unquote free, which means that it's a data harvester. But that's a pretty nice alternative to Photoshop. That program is still pretty janky though, so I'm not a huge fan of it. But yeah, anyway. 8 milliseconds is atrocious and the worst performance in the world, yeah. GIMP is really bad indeed. You guys are just haters, I never use it, yeah. So you could say that the videos of financial success mean ad revenue. Yeah, like that one video is basically gonna double, the next time I get a YouTube ad payment, it basically doubles my typical payment. So like if you could regularly pump out videos that do like 100,000 or 200,000 views, you can actually make a substantial chunk of money. It's not a whole lot, but can't hate on GIMP because it's free and open source, but yeah, it has some jank. Yeah, and I know people who like use GIMP all the time and they're like perfectly productive with it. It's like you know me, I'm not dogmatic about the tools, right? Like my whole thing is like use whatever tools you are most productive with. If I personally don't like a tool, that's like nothing against the tool. It's just, it doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? But I get lost using GIMP and Inkscape. I use Krita, which is not perfect, but almost there. Yeah, I tried to use Krita. I really like Krita. I think Krita solves a lot of the problems that GIMP has. But the problem is, like, I have an RTX 4080 in my system, and like even like on a moderately sized canvas, like it was super laggy, and I don't understand what's going on there. So I don't know if maybe it wasn't like using hardware acceleration properly or what, but it was like there was something weird about it that caused me to stop using it. But if you don't have such problems, then yeah, Krita is a good one. Came from paid Photoshop and switched to a free Affinity is pretty on par. Yeah, Affinity is like the closest like free alternative that I've gotten to being like, you know, knowing how to use Photoshop. Is what What was I saying? I got interrupted by a text. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think you know what I was saying. Not lagging on my PC skill issue. Well, fudge. Get wrecked me, I guess. Okay, so thorns. We want to make this preserve bleed. So let's do var preserve bleed is equal to new alchemy preserve ability type ability explanations dot bleed. Okay, now we need to edit the we need to edit the text here. So we need flavor text for it. This is a 2x1. Let's see. Can I select multiple cards? I'm trying to, I don't know, is there a way to like move all the contents of this over? No. Okay. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. So item thorns, we need to add flavor text. Okay, turn cooldown. The reagent turn cooldown doesn't really matter, so I just kind of throw something in there. Is player, is flippable, it doesn't matter. Reagent. Anything else? Loot table weight? No, we're good. Okay, let's see what happens. Add item thorns. No bleed abilities of adjacent items will be replaced by alchemy. Look at that. We could just test. I'm pretty sure like this is just using already built code. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to work, but let's just... Yeah, the bleed is still there. Okay. Pretty sure that works. Actually, let's try, we can do it more targeted. Do a more targeted application here. So I think this actually... Oh, I was going to say, like, yeah, anyway. Corrupted, no. I love that tentacle effect, though. I like how that turned out. Wait, did Godot crash? Man, Godot is going the way of GIMP, I guess. I'm just kidding. I would never slander Godot like that. Oof, yeah. Luckily, Godot does not take 10 minutes to open, so it's not really that disruptive. Of course, I would love if it didn't crash, but it didn't crash. Add item maggot. Boom. So yeah, the cool thing, so like Ninja Link brought this up in the Discord yesterday. When the alchemy detects that none of the abilities are going to be replaced, it zeroes out the corruption chance. So this has one ability, which is bleed, which is protected by this thorns here. So the corruption chance doesn't show up because it's like, it knows that it's not going to be able to replace any abilities. So it's like, but this one does have a corruption chance because it can gain a corrupted ability. So I'm going to pretend like I designed it to work. I mean, I know that it was going to work in that case because like when the reagents say they don't change any abilities of a type, they mean it doesn't change. The corruption doesn't override that. What I didn't anticipate was that the tooltip would be correct and not show the corruption chance. So that's a very happy accident that works. So yeah, sweet. Oh, I need to regenerate the translations as well. Okay. All right, let's do another one then. So, preserve bleed. What don't we have? We have fire, we have bleed. We don't have a damage one. The hard part about these reagents is not like, I know what effects I want to add to the reagents. The hard part is coming up with a theme for them. So like, what would be the theme of a reagent that protects damage abilities? Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, actually, I want to do this. Chisel, we're going to turn this loot table weight down to 2, and we're going to make this drop as legendary. I made a small game when I first started, made with the most atrocious and unoptimized code, and Godot would crash every 3 minutes. I ended up having to delete it. Oof. That's unfortunate. Hello, Alakazam. Calcification. I don't know how I would draw that as an item. As like item art. Man, I don't have any ideas. Maybe something related to forges or like a hilt or something. Maybe like a hilt. We already have a whetstone item. We already have calipers. We already have anvils. We already have an ingot, the lead ingot. What else? Hello, Simon William Taylor. Welcome. Oh, item. All I heard was theme, so I assumed you were talking about tag and descriptor or something. Oh no, gotcha. No, whenever I say theme for a card, what I really mean is like, what is the art gonna be? And of course, the art will also affect like what the flavor text is. So theme is kind of like an all-encompassing, like, what is the presentation of the item? Okay, tell you what, I'm going to take another quick 3-minute break. We'll go a little bit longer on this stream because I want to get at least another reagent done, but hopefully a couple of reagents done. But when I come back, we will think more about what art to give this. And then, yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to do. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Hello, Mel's. I put my problem in the Discord. If anyone knows how to fix it, you can check it out. Yeah, there's a lot of helpful people there. Maybe I can take a look at it too, if I have time. Anyway, we need to come up with a theme for this. Card inspection tool. So preserve damage. What is your secret to make the UI so juicy? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, obviously animations play a big part. Like generally, I still feel like this game is a little bit too static. Like I would like to do more animations. The way that you make a game feel like a game really is you just add a lot of interactivity through animations and sound effects. Like that's a big part of it. Like animations and sound effects go a long way to making something like look relatively lifeless to looking lively and fun to interact with. So like I think that's the important thing to remember is like games are an interactive medium, and so like the interaction, the moment-to-moment interactions need to be fun. And the way that you make the moment-to-moment interactions fun is by adding animations, sound effects, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, that's to the extent that I have a quote-unquote secret, it's that. Just try to like animate everything. Try to animate everything, give everything chunky sound effects. Sound effect design is like something that you can't overlook. It's like there's like a right and a wrong way to make sound effects. Generally, you want your sound effects to be in games to be really crunchy. They should cover like a nice portion of the spectrum in terms of like the frequency spectrum. So you should have good bass in it. You should have some like clarity around the mid-range, and then you also, like, if it's applicable, you might want some like high end as well. A lot of times if your sound effects are not feeling juicy, it's because they're missing one of those things. Like you might have a sound effect that sounds really good from like a theoretical standpoint, but then you put it in the game and it feels kind of like shallow or like not full. And the way that you make sound effects fuller is by filling out that spectrum more. So especially adding like the low end stuff, like you want stuff to be crunchy and have some bass to them. And so like usually like I just try to find a sound effect that already has those things that feels really crunchy and like visceral. But if it doesn't exist, then what I'll do is I'll take a sound effect that maybe doesn't have so much low end, and I'll try to find another sound effect that is mostly low end, and then I'll like put those together, like I'll overlay those together in like Audacity or something, and then hopefully, you know, make the chunkiness stand out a little bit more. But yeah, it's like, I think the secret is just try to make the interactions, the moment-to-moment interactions, fun. But that's just how I think about it. Yeah, good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think, you know, generally with games, I think what I'm learning through Alchemordis is like everything should be fun top down, right? It's not just the core mechanics that need to be fun. It's like the presentation needs to be fun and the interactions need to be fun. And like, you know, like I think I did a pretty good job in this game of like making the drag and drop interactions feel really good. Like you get a nice like chunky sound effect when things are picked up and dropped, and like you get nice little shuffle sounds and things move around, and the animations are like pretty satisfying when you're like moving things around like this. So yeah, like everything from top down, from high level to low level, needs to be fun. Anyway, what kind of theme are we going to do? I'm still stuck on the theme. Can we still playtest your game? There is a Patreon playtest going on right now, so only Patreon members have access to the playtest right now. But in just a couple of days here, less than a week, I will announce the public playtest, which everyone will be able to try. So just got to wait a couple more days, a couple more, you know, 3-4 more days, something like that. 5 more days. I don't know. I'll announce it. The date of the exact start of the public playtest is not like, I don't know for sure yet when it's going to happen, and the reason for that, I'll explain the reason for that later. But it will be happening, and you will have a chance to play. You do not have to support on Patreon to get access to the playtest. So, yeah. I will not be requiring you to send me money until the game is formally for sale. Okay, why can I not think of anything? I literally can't think of anything for so for context, we're trying to make a reagent that preserves all damage abilities. Maybe we could do like, let me think. The other thing too is I'm trying to fill out the variety of shapes of reagents. So we've got 2 2x2 reagents. We've got a bunch of 1x2s. We've got a bunch of 2x1s. We've got a bunch of 1x1s. I'll just do, let's just do a 1x1. It's fine. We'll make it a fang. It might look too similar to the beast claw, though. Well, we'll try it. Well, whatever. That's the approach that we take to Alchemortis. Well, whatever. It's a very sophisticated game indeed. Very sophisticated game indeed. Well, whatever. I think that looks all right. I think it looks different enough from the beast claw. Whatever. I think it's all right. Yeah, the top part is just a little bit weird to me, but I think it's okay. It's just a small 1x1 item, so doesn't need to be that sophisticated, I suppose. Okay. Export Fang. What about Tetris shapes? I do have a bunch of things that are Tetris shapes, not artifacts specifically. I mean, I guess I could, yeah, introduce some new, more interesting shapes for the artifacts, but so this is a reagent. That's fine. We'll probably want to do some kind of interesting title for it as well. But anyway, we can go to the Fang here. Okay, let's see if that works. Hi again, they definitely won't accept me. What are you working on? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Interviews are tough. They are tough. But right now I'm working on adding new reagents to the game. Is there a specific reason you use C# instead of GDScript or personal preference? Yeah, just personal preference. C# gives me a lot more structure that I prefer to have. Those look different enough, right? One is going the other way, one is going up. They are roughly the same, but I guess that's all right. They definitely have a different shape and a different orientation, but maybe it's still the case that players would get them mixed up. I don't know, we can always change it later if people say they're not different enough. But I like the idea of having like a bunch of different like beast parts. Maybe I'll just call this Beast Fang too. We'll just make them explicitly related to each other. So it's like they're all so they look similar because they're all coming from like the same beast, right? Boom, easy. I explained away the similarity. I kind of like doing that for items too. Like instead of trying to come up with like real world items or whatever, I could just make something up and say, "Oh, this is a relic. Like this is a made up thing and it's a relic. Ooh, isn't that cool?" And it's like it opens up the design space quite a bit in terms of like the art that I can do. So we got 4 damage, and then none of these should change now. Cool. Let's also add item Flint. So let's do this. Add item Fang. So if I do this, so this says that it's going to add 1 fire, but it shouldn't do that. It should just keep this. Yep, perfect. Okay, cool. Put all the beast parts in the same thing. It gives you a bonus, like an armor set in certain games. Yeah, I would love to do something like that. I haven't been able to do like creative things like that necessarily because I just don't have enough items to work with yet. But I would love to do something that has like a set bonus where you collect all the parts during a single run and you get like a super powerful thing out of it. Like maybe it's just like you get the beast fang and you get the beast claw and then you get like the beast tail and you get the beast horn or whatever. And you put all 4 of those into alchemy and then like you get a new item out of it, like an item that you can't get anywhere else, like some kind of beast that just like has this really cool, like I want to add like more like little secrets and stuff to the game. Things where like you may do 100 runs before like you encounter this thing. I'm expecting the Strange Man to be kind of like that. I mean, anyone who has watched the streams and who has seen me work on that knows what the Strange Man is. But the Strange Man has a surprise that I'm guessing a lot of people aren't going to figure out. But the whole point of that is like when you do figure it out and you do get something out of it, it's supposed to be like this fun moment. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely want to do more stuff like that for sure. Okay, and build. Look at the translation file. It's massive. 3,000 lines. Cool. All right, well, I think I'll call the stream there. I'm going to go eat some lunch, but thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. We got a couple of reagents done at least, but I'm going to go work on something else now. But yeah, if you're interested in the game, please wishlist Alchemortis. It's available on Steam for wishlisting. The playtest is currently active as well, so if you want access to the playtest, you have to be a Patreon member right now. So you can go to the Patreon, that's linked below. You can join at either tier here. That will get you instant access to the playtest. The key will be sent to your email. But again, just want to reiterate and stress that you do not have to be a Patreon supporter to join the playtest. The playtest will be opening up for everyone in the very near future. So if you'd rather wait and just play the publicly available playtest, that's totally fine. But thank you to everyone who is supporting on Patreon and has supported on Patreon. It's very much appreciated. And thank you to everyone who is currently playing the playtest and offering your feedback and bug reports. I think the game is feeling really solid now, largely because of all the feedback and all of your participation in the playtest. So it's very much appreciated. And maybe, I think the game is getting to a good spot where maybe the playtest frequency will start to drop because I'm starting to get to the point where like all the systems are being narrowed down and filled out. And so I'm hoping like, maybe we do 1 or 2 more playtests before release, but I'm really hoping that we can start to wind down the whole playtest cycle thing. And then I could just like go full in on finishing the game so you all can purchase it on Steam. So anyway, thank you again, everyone. Very much appreciate all of you. And I hope you all have a great day. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.